Good morning, everybody. Hope you're well. So this is our last Friday together until next year. And I just wanted to thank you all so much for coming so regularly and being just such a lovely class, whether in the river or here, or there, I should say. So yeah, all you need for this class is a blanket that you can fold up to be about 5 centimeters thick. And then maybe something to sit on later on in the class. And those of you who've been coming to the gentle classes earlier in the week already know that this is a very gentle, soothing, meditative class, because we have risen all the way up through the chakras over these last 6 weeks. And the last 2 chakras that we're working with are the Ajña chakra here in the area of the third eye, just behind the eyes into the brain, and the Sahasrara Chakra that is at the top of the head. Sahasrara meaning a 1,000-petaled lotus. And both of these energy centers are associated with very subtle states of the mind and of a spaciousness that exceeds the containment of our own mind. So a spaciousness that we can access that is not necessarily confined within the boundaries of our own, what we think of as ourselves. So it's a subtle practice. Yeah, I think that's, I'll say a little bit more as we go along. So this is based on the class we did on Monday and Thursday, but obviously we've got longer, so I can draw it out a little bit. So if you'd like to come to lying down, please, with your head on your folded blanket, so you're elevated about 5 centimeters. You can extend your legs. Maybe you want to cover yourself with a blanket at this time to make sure that you're warm enough. And take a few moments to settle. I probably don't need to remind you that in the ancient texts about yoga, from the Upanishads through to Patanjali's Yoga Sutras a little bit later, or quite a lot later, it's very explicitly stated that one of the main functions of yoga is to allow us to become more and more sensitive to our energy bodies and to all of what this means. So it means tuning into the earth element, water, fire, air, ether, as we've been doing, but all in order to purify ourselves and purify an energy flow up the body from the base of the spine up through the top of the head. So we're able to enter and experience more subtle states of meditation. That's really why we do the physical work. Some people come to meditation without attending to the body. But in yoga, we recognize that the body and the mind are indivisible. And the spaciousness that we can attain through meditation is something that is integral to every cell of our living body, not something that transcends us, although it can as well. So taking a few moments, I'll stop talking, to drop your attention into the body and to really feel the surface beneath you. It's like a mini shavasana at the beginning of a class in which you invite softness in, but you also are alert to what's going on for you right now. How are you feeling this morning? Are there parts of your body that need your love and attention today? Is there something that interests you about the quality of your breath? And are there any prevailing thoughts, emotions that are here with you to accompany at least the beginning of your practice? Are you able to welcome it all in? Hi Mary, hi Diane, thanks for joining us. And as you lie here a little bit longer, feeling into the day, what might it be like to soften more around the throat, the roof of the mouth, around the base of the ears, behind the eyes, and deep inside the brain, to the back of your skull and to the very top, the crown of your skull. Sometimes we can very easily tune in and really feel into that ease and spaciousness within the brain. And as you continue, I'll read you a few words. So T.S. Little in the good old subtle Yoga of the Subtle Body, he says, we could say that all of the organs of all the organs in the body, the brain is the most difficult to affect or change. It cannot be physically adjusted. We can manipulate the large intestine, the liver, or stomach by flexing or extending the spine. And it's possible to alter the rhythmic contractions of the heart and lungs via regulated breathing. But it is impossible to manipulate the brain, which is carefully enshrined in the orb of the cranial vault. Thus, states of meditation, heart-centered loving kindness, metta, and the vibratory rhythms or vibratory rhythms of mantra vicariously influence command centers deep within the brain. In the meditative traditions, absorption into the innermost sublime channel of the body produces profound neurological and hormonal shifts, etc., etc. I'll say a bit more later. So for a moment, could you take your fingertips to, first of all, check out your earlobes, but then take your fingertips into the tissues and the muscle at the side of the jaw, just beneath the ears. And you might want to feel around a little bit. So I have absolutely massive, well-defined masseter muscles here, which have their own problems. You might have the same, you might not. I want you just to notice how you feel in this area of the jaw. Is there a tenderness? Is there a tightness? Are you somebody who has to maybe wear a gum shield at night because of grinding your teeth and overusing this muscle? Or are you really relaxed in this area of the head? And you can open and close your mouth a little as you feel around, like a very gentle exploration around this area, just so that you're aware of what's going on. Because Because one of the things we can do to enter this state of ease in the brain is to relax a little in the jaw. And this muscle, the masseter muscle, is the jaw, is the muscle that helps us chew, helps us speak. And as with all other muscles, it's interconnected with a subtle network of muscles and tissues going into the rest of the head, but also down the neck and throat. So have a little bit of a massage, just a little bit of a feel in here. Go up the side of the ears, open and close. You can feel these little bones moving. Maybe move your jaw up and down from side to side a bit. And then release your hands down. And come to the top of a really lovely full breath in without strain. And pause here, relaxing in the top of your mouth, and then open your mouth to breathe out. And take 4 more of these breaths, really softening and pausing and exhaling open mouth. And then return to natural breathing, simply noticing how you feel. We're going to stay quite a lot longer on our backs, not very mobile. We will come into movement later. So I just want you to make sure that you're warm enough. And then remove the blanket from behind your head unless you really need something underneath your head. And can you take your feet out so they're into the corners of your mat, so mat distance apart, and your arms out to the side, palms facing up for now. And we're going to come into a very, what I think is a very beautiful, very subtle Kriya practice, which means a cleansing practice in preparation for mantra, for breath work, for more asana, physical work. It's Kaya Kriya. Some of you know this already with me. And the benefits of this practice will be richer if you're able to really soften and release into all of your joints, your ankles, your knees and your hips, your shoulders and your wrists, and then the articulation of your skull and your neck. I'm going to take it really slowly. If you love an ujjayi breath, a gentle contraction in the back of the throat, then you can introduce that now. So can you take a breath in with your attention on your feet? And as you breathe out, turn your big toes inwards as if you're going to try and touch the floor with your big toes. You might feel this in the hips. If you've got pain in your lower back, be really tender with yourself here. And as you inhale, gently rotate the feet outwards so that your little toe edge of the feet comes right to the floor. So you're opening it out as much as possible. And as you exhale, you turn back in. So have a little feel into this very lovely, subtle rotation in the lower body. You inhale to open. You exhale to close. And you can continue like this, or you might like to add sound to your practice, and we can bring in the first syllable of the Om mantra, which is Ah. So you might like to inhale and open out. Ah. As you close. And continue like that for, let's say, 4 rounds. Last one. And then release your legs into an easy position and feel the ground beneath you, the space around you. And we're going to now come to our wrists, our fingers, and our shoulders. You can start with the palms facing down. And just to say, you might want to look at me now, we're going to turn the hands as far as they'll go. So we're really working, but very tenderly into the shoulder joint. So as you open, you take your thumbs around as far as you can. And as you close, you take your little fingers around and back as far as you can. We start with the palms down. So we'll start without sound. Really keep that connection of the hands with the floor, because it's this connection that will keep you grounded. And on the inhale, open your palms gently out. Maybe lifting onto the outer edge of your thumb. And as you exhale, gently roll back. And again on the edge of your thumb, but with your hands in the opposite angle. And continue feeling this ripple of movement from the fingers and the wrists all the way up to the shoulders. And I hope it's soothing for you. Really soft in the hands and the wrists as you explore this movement. And if you like sound, the syllable is ooh. So you open your hands out as you breathe in. And we'll take 5 rounds with sound. Ooh. Last one. And then release your hands facing up, your arms relaxed, and simply feel into the body, feel into your joints. Notice the quality of your breath. So these vibrations of sound, as that little bit of text said, can work very subtly and profoundly into the state of our brain, to put it quite crudely. Now please turn your head around to the left. So you can feel quite heavy in the head, you can feel it sinking through the left side into the floor. And as you breathe in, begin to, take a breath in here, excuse me. And as you breathe out, begin to roll it heavy and slow around to the right. And you breathe in and you roll it back. So you're really massaging the head here, feeling into the delicacy of your neck vertebrae. Round to the left. And as you breathe out, you roll round to the right. Take a few and then we'll add the syllable ah. No, I don't mean that, do I? I mean Let's take one more without sound. You exhale to turn to the right. Inhale, turn back to the left, and then we'll take 5 rounds with coming to the last one. And then return to neutral, extra soft inside the mouth and the throat, to feel the whole body. Quality of your breath. So we're going to combine those 3 movements and the 3 sounds. And there's we don't do everything at the same time, so we're looking for a little bit of a ripple, a little bit of a wave of sound and movement. So don't worry if it doesn't work the first time. Let's all start with the feet turned in, the palms down, and the head to the left. And I'll demonstrate a couple and then you join in when you're ready. So as you breathe in, can you begin to open out the feet? And when your toes are about vertical, begin to open the hands. Keep going with the feet. When your thumbs are about vertical, begin to roll your head to the right. And as you breathe out, begin to roll your head to the left. When it's vertical, lift your hands. And then, I don't mean lift them, you know what I mean. And then turn your feet so you end up closed and looking to the left. So the only alteration here is that we are breathing out as we move our head to the left rather than to the right. which is probably what I should have done the first time, as I thought I was doing. Let's take a 2 or 3 more rounds without sound. So you start with the feet on the inhale. Join in with the hands. Join in with the head. So you're open and looking to the right. And then begin the movement with the head on the way back. Join in the hands. Join in the feet. It's very difficult to keep these movements separate, I find. One more in your own time. Try not to think about it. Allow your body to intuit. So we're now all together, I hope. Feet in, palms down, head to the left. So we're going to inhale in that same way. As we move to the right, we open our palms and our feet. But on the exhale, allow the body to ripple with that movement and then come through Aum. So you join the 3 syllables to make the full primordial sound. Aum. Okay, hope this is okay for you. I love this practice. So begin now in, and let's say, okay, so in case we're all making lots of noise, we're going to do 5 full rounds starting now. So we inhale. Coming to the final round. And then release the whole body and lie for a few moments to absorb the after effect. So again, in T.S. Little's words, in our journey from the base of the body to the crown of the head, we have migrated from the solid ground of earth in the feet to the realm of space that resides in the sanctuary of the skull. In the wisdom traditions, space together with the mind are considered to be all-pervasive. Akasha, or space, is likened to emptiness. Space not only is linked to the ear, but also has domain over the crown chakra, Sahasrara, 1,000 petaled lotus, also known as the empty chakra. Thus, an enlightened mind is equated with boundless space and is imagined to be like pure sky, all penetrating intrinsic awareness. So the Ajña chakra, this area behind the eyes, governs, in terms of the physical body and our senses, the eyes, ears, nose, and the base of the skull. And obviously we're working at an endocrine level with the pituitary gland and also the pineal gland deeper into the brain. So please, could you bring your blanket back under your head? I want to raise the head again. And we're going to do one more thing on our backs now to explore a little bit more jaw release. Slightly unusual exercise, which I can best describe first as being like a shavasana for your tongue and a shavasana for your lower jaw. So if you'd like, first of all, to bring your attention to the whole head. Feel maybe a softness, a space behind the eyes, behind the nose. But then come down to your upper lip, really heavy in the upper lip. Feeling a softness and a heaviness in that muscular area beneath the ears that you touched right at the beginning of the practice. You could take your fingers there again if you want. I'm feeling really heavy, heavy, heavy in the lower jaw. You may find that your lips part slightly. And your tongue is heavy and spreads out in the bottom of your mouth, a bit like a banana leaf, lovely and smooth and wide. You feel it going right to the root of your tongue, to the throat. And breathe softly, breathe naturally here. Feeling this dissolving down through the jaw, the tongue, the lips, the base of the ears. Releasing through the very roof of your mouth as well. And then opening your mouth by releasing the lower jaw about 30 degrees. So your mouth's open. You'll feel the air, you'll feel yourself breathing through the mouth and the nose probably simultaneously. And then bring the heel of your right hand and you're going to press, or you're going to press it lightly into the little dimpled area of your chin, if you have a dimple there, just the point of your chin. So you make that contact. And as you press lightly, can you begin to jut your chin forward? So you push the chin, the lower jaw, into the hand. If that feels weird, move it forwards and back a little. And then commit to a few breaths of pushing it forwards. Don't hold your breath. And we're releasing and working into all the tissues around the area of the jaws and the ears. Breathe. One more breath in. And then release the hand and simply feel the jaw release back into place. Might be tender for you. I hold a lot of tension in this part of my body, so I find this quite hard, but for you it might feel like an immediate softness and release. Then we're going to do the sideways movement of the jaw. So bring the heel of your right hand to the right side of the jaw. Your mouth is about 30 degrees open, still with that heavy softness. And imagine a sheep or a cow chewing the cud. And move your jaw a little bit from left to right, lower jaw. until you're ready to push it into the heel of your hand to the right only. And you stay again for a few breaths, mouth open, don't stop breathing. Obviously, don't overdo this, don't strain any of the muscles in the jaw around the skull. One more breath in. And then release. Notice how you feel. And we'll use the left hand for the left side of the jaw. So when you're ready, mouth open a bit. Have a little wiggle around left to right until you commit to pushing the jaw into the heel of your hand to the left and breathe. Notice where you're feeling this. Try not to tense up in the rest of the body. One more breath in and then release. And take a moment to settle and feel. And then come to the top of a full breath in. Pause and breathe out with your mouth open. We'll do 5 like this. Last one. And then when you're ready, bringing yourself your way over onto an all fours position. Lovely. And we're going to actually take another little breathing practice. I hope you're right with this practice being so gentle and slow today. I personally love this, but some of you might be wanting a bit more movement, which will come in shortly. If you'd like to bring your forearms down to the mat and sit back now towards your heels. If this is uncomfortable for your knees, you could place something behind your knees onto your calves. So there's a little bit of a release of tension in the knees. And we're going to come back to the breath, and we're going to come back to those sound syllables that make up the Om mantra. But first of all, palms and lower arms down and lengthen the back of your neck. Can you settle into this, what is effectively a very lovely forward fold? Hare posture or rabbit posture maybe actually. And can you bring your attention to the lower section of your ribs, the area between your navel and your diaphragm? And remember, as in all these breathing exercises that we've done in the past, we're feeling into the front, the back, and the sides of the lower part of the ribs. As we breathe into and access the lower lobules of the lungs. And we're going to take 5 rounds of the syllable ah. So coming to the top of a breath in, feeling that gentle expansion in all directions. Ah. Last one. And take a couple of natural breaths. And then pushing into your hands to lift your elbows. So your arms are straight. And bringing your attention to the middle section of the rib cage, the middle section of the lungs. So you feel the back of the ribs, the sides, and the front. And take a few breaths exploring this expansion and release in this area of the lungs and the ribs. And the sound that we will combine here, if you'd like to, is ooh. And the idea is that the resonance of this sound actually tunes into this particular area of the physical and pranic body, breathing body. So coming to the top of a breath in, we take 5. Coming to the last one. With a few natural breaths, sliding your hands onto your legs, spine is upright. For this final part of this little sequence, sound and breathing sequence, you may find that you prefer to come to standing. You'll see what I mean as I demonstrate. I'm going to roll the shoulders back to interlace the hands. And it may be for you interlacing the hands just isn't right. You could hold a belt, you could hold your forearms. Let me demonstrate. The focus is up in the very top of the lungs, the collarbones, armpits, out in all directions. And as you breathe in, just watch me first. You take a little opening in the chest, maybe your arms come behind you. And as you breathe out, you lift your bottom, come to the forehead. And you breathe in to come back. So this is obviously more physical, and it may be that it's better for you to stand and not put the pressure on your head and your neck. And it may be that you want to be quite careful with your shoulders. We haven't really done, except for that Kaya Kriya, we haven't done a massive opening of the chest and shoulders. So take it easy, and we will come straight into 5 rounds of And if you want to just sit and chant that's fine. So breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing in. Breathing in. Coming to your last one. Whether you're standing or kneeling, taking a few moments to simply absorb the effects of that practice. Notice how you're feeling. And what I'd like to do now is come into some very familiar movements, postures, but all after having been almost 50 minutes tuning into very, very subtle practice. So you may or may not feel the spaciousness, the ease, the freedom from what we've done. Doesn't matter. But if you do feel it, I invite you to bring it into the rest of the physical practice. So this is not about strength. It's about just the beauty of awareness, really, in whatever we're doing. So if you'd like to come to all fours, spread your fingers, feel your knees underneath your hips. And we're going to move in between cat, cow, child, downward dog. And I'll lead you a little bit, but I'd rather you actually came to an intuitive practice. You've had a lot of instruction, and it might be just really nice to feel into the body. So I'll talk a little bit and then leave you to it. So as you next breathe in, tilting the pelvis forwards, opening the throat, lifting the chin. And breathing out, scoop up. You might like to take a few rounds like this. If you have any lower back pain, you know that you can be very gentle with these movements. You could even do them on your back. Little pelvic tilts rather than the full cat-cow. And allow your breath to be the most important thing so that your movement follows or almost surfs the breath. And you could keep going cat-cow, or at some stage at the end of your cat, when you've scooped up, you can come back to child, maybe up on your fingertips. You might like to stay here for a bit, or you might like to keep moving between those three postures: cow, cat, child. Make it entirely your own. all with a softness in the roof of your mouth and the release in the jaw. And you might be just really enjoying these postures, and that's fine. Or you might find that you want to add in a little downward dog at some stage after your cat or your child. You might like to walk out your dog. You might like to then drop to child. So you've got another pose to play with, moving between these poses in your own time, in your own way. We've got all the time in the world. Very spacious practice today. Follow the breath with the movement. Should be nothing other than pleasurable. And then could we please all meet now in an all fours position? Take a breath in, curl your toes under, and breathe out everybody to a downward dog. Take a breath in here and a breath out. Take another breath in and then drop your knees and very gently roll over the front of your body, bringing your forehead to rest on your hands. And take a breath in and out here. And keeping your hands pinned to your forehead, breathing in, lift your head and your chest a little way from the floor, activating the back muscles. Breathe out, come down. So if you've got back problems, you might want to just keep doing cat-cow rather than doing this. Let's take 2 more. Breathe in, come up. Breathe out, come down. Breathe in, come up. Breathe out, come down. And slide your hands to your ribs and inhale, push yourself to an all fours position. So we'll make a full sequence of this now and take 2 full rounds. On a breath in, tilt the pelvis forwards, open the throat. Breathe out, scoop the front body into the back body, pull yourself back to a child's pose. Breathe in, lift to all fours. Curl your toes under. Breathe out, downward dog. Take a full breath in here. And then exhale, drop your knees. And very gently roll down over the front of your body, bringing your forehead to your hands. Inhale, lift, activate the back muscles. Compress into your feet and pubic bone. Exhale, come down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, come down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, come down. Slide your hands to your ribs. Inhale to all fours. Exhale here, we'll do one more full round. So breathing in, tilt the pelvis, open the heart and the throat. Breathe out, scoop up chin to chest. Come back to your child. Breathe into all fours. Curl your toes under, breathe out, downward dog. Take a full breath in your dog. And then exhale, knees come down. Roll carefully down over the front of your body. Bring your forehead to your hands. 3 times lifting and coming down on the exhale. Don't push it, don't need to come far, but feel an enlivening of the back muscles. Take a full breath now, in and out on your belly. You can open your mouth on the exhale if you like. And take 2 more. Then slide your hands back to your ribs. Push yourself to all fours. Meet me in a downward dog. Just for a few breaths, we're going to transition to standing. But enjoy maybe a few breaths to just feel the whole body to expand, to maybe move around a little. And then looking to your hands, walk your hands and your feet in towards each other. And I'd like you to bend your knees and allow the whole of the upper body to pour down. You could hold onto your elbows and have a little bit of a dangle here, decompressing the spine. Feel through the feet and breathe. You can even move around to the right, to the left. Really soften the roof of your mouth and in the jaws still, behind the eyes. One more full breath in, and then release your hands down. And we're going to roll up super slow. Keep your chin into your chest, keep your knees bent. And begin to reassemble your spine vertebra by vertebra. A little bit of a push through the feet. No hurry. Your shoulders will eventually roll back and your head will come up last. And we'll come down, we'll do that again. We'll come down and up. This is so good for the spine. If you need to take your feet slightly wider apart, please do. So you just take lots of breaths so that there's no concern with synchronizing the movement with the breath here. We're just going to curl down, feeling the weight of your arms, the dangling. Feeling into every millimeter of your back tissues here as you come down. When you're ready, come back up again. Slow is good. Ragdoll is good. Puppet with a very, very lazy puppeteer is very good. Slowly bringing the puppet to life. Undirect, but no hurry. And you're welcome to keep going up and down the front axis like this, the front back axis, or you might like to turn around over to the right. So you come down slowly over the right side of the body. Obviously not if you've got any back glitches right now. I would keep going up and down the front and the back. And once you've come up from the right, and there's no hurry here, coming back to the center and turning to the left and coming down over the side of the body. It's quite awkward, I find, but it gets into little places in the back that just going up and down the front doesn't. Can you feel into your ribs? So I'll leave you a little bit like before for a few moments to explore in your own way. You could keep going up and down the front. You can move from right to left and make it completely delicious, as if you're having a very gentle, warm ironing out. Any rumples, any little knots in your back, shoulders, neck, throat, skull. Make it very heavy. And if you've been doing it, this rolling movement to the sides, can you just make sure now that you are symmetrical? So if you feel that you've done one more to the right or to the left, then just balance it out. So I'm going down to my left for the last time. And then we'll all do one down to the front and up again to finalize. Breathing all the way. No hurry to roll back up again, but when you have rolled up, just taking a moment, maybe eyes closed, to feel the body, the breath and the space to the front of you, to the back of you, to the right and the left of you. Feel down through the soles of your feet and out through the crown of your head. Wonderful. And then coming to face me, which you probably are already, make sure that your feet are a little bit more than hip distance apart. And we're going to interlace our hands with the four fingers pointing up in Keshvana mudra. This is a mudra of joy. So mudra to break through grief, depression. Not that they shouldn't be there, those emotions, but a sense of helping us lift to joy. So inhale, lift your arms up. Interlace your hands as you exhale, and you reach up through the forefingers and you root down through the feet. Want a little bit of engagement in the lower back now. In the abdomen now. Little lift of the pubic bone. Little drop of the tailbone. Take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, come over to the right. Just gently press into the left foot. Again, if you're suffering at the moment from back issues, be very, very delicate here, or maybe don't even do it at all. Otherwise, take some time to breathe into the left side of the body. All the while really soft in the face and that space in the skull. On the next breath in, come up to the top. And exhale, come over to the left. A little bit of pressure into the right foot. And explore sensation and the breath through the right side of the body. Inhale, come to the top. And exhale, release your arms. And we'll take 3 familiar standing poses before we come back down to the mat. So if you'd like to take your feet about a stride apart, maybe 1 meter apart, right foot out, aligning about heel to heel, but it will depend on your body. So we're coming to your version of Utthita Trikonasana, so your version of triangle. And I'm saying your version because there are lots and lots of ways of teaching this, as you know, but I want you to feel the space and the ease in the pose for you. And that might mean doing this, might mean coming down only a tiny way, or it might mean keeping your feet parallel and coming over to the side like that. So we're going to go to the right first. Legs are engaged. Feeling the side stretch on the left and only hinging down to the right as much as feels good for you. And you don't even need to lift up that left arm if you don't want to. Some people take it behind the back to reach for the top of the right thigh. Or you might lift it. You could even take it over your ear. Find your pose, and if you fancy, even try feeling into it with your eyes closed for a few breaths. Moving around to find ease in the pose, no sense of what's correct, but finding ease. One more breath in. And then do look down on the breath out. If your left hand was raised, take it to the hip. Bend into the right knee. And bring yourself up. Bring your feet back to parallel. And now zigzag them out a little bit further apart. Bring the left foot in 45 degrees. The right foot out. And now you are aligned heel to instep for your Virabhadrasana 2, your Warrior 2. And again, come into it softly with curiosity. Check your alignment. And settle into the pose maybe with your eyes closed or with a very empty, open gaze beyond the right fingertips. And breathe a few breaths. One more breath in and a long breath out. And then can you push yourself into a star, both feet pointing out, arms above you. And you could look straight ahead, you could look up, or you might close your eyes and tune in to the relationship between the ground of your feet and the space all around and in between your fingers. Breathe and feel the whole body now. Space to the front, the back, the sides, above and below. One more breath in. And then breathe out, arms come down. Hands to your hips. Feet to parallel and come to that slightly narrower stance, about 1 meter. If you're going, and you might keep your feet parallel for triangle to the left, or you might take your left foot out and then find your Utthita Trikonasana, legs are working. And breathe, a few breaths. And feel it around the body, within the body. Find the space and the ease in the pose. One more breath in. Breathe out, look down, right hand to your hip, bend into that knee. Gently bring yourself up. Feet to parallel, open them out a little bit wider, then turn your left foot out, right foot in 45 degrees. Find your warrior two. Heel to instep is usually the best alignment for the hips and the legs here. And breathe and feel your skin. Feel the space. Maybe eyes closed or a soft gaze beyond your left fingertips. One more breath in and a long breath out. And then gently bring yourself to your star, toes out, arms above you. And breathe and feel in all directions. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, hands to your hips. Take each heel out, bend slightly in the knees. We're coming down. Take a breath in and expand and feel the lightness of the upper body. And then hinge forwards. You could keep your hands to your hips, or you could bring your hands under your shoulders. You can even wriggle around a bit here. Might find you want your feet wider apart. And take a full breath in to find that length and that space in the torso. And then breathe out, fold in as deep as you like, or you stay, as I'm going to stay, with the spine parallel with the floor. And breathe. Full breaths. Little bit of separating of your sitting bones so that you can create space in the lower back. And then after your next full exhalation, walking your way around into a downward dog. Maybe take a couple of breaths here, or if you want to, come straight down to a pose of the child before we prepare for our final practice. Take a few breaths, exploring whichever pose feels right for you at this moment. And the final part of the practice before Shavasana will be in a seated position, and you could be on a chair. You could basically be in any position that's comfortable for you that allows your spine to be upright and straight as, or straight-ish. So we're going to come to this lovely practice called Prana Mudra, which is essentially an invocation of energy in the context of all of the energy centers that we've been working on with the subtle body. And we will bring in the bija mantras. So I think we did this last week, so that for each energy center, for each chakra, there is a syllable bija sound, a root sound, seed sound. So I'm going to remind you of what they are. I'm going to show you the practice, and then because we're not all in the room and we don't need to harmonize or anything, or at least synchronize, I'm going to let you just explore the practice on your own. So bearing in mind that we are invoking energy and we're exploring the transition from the earth energy into water, to fire, to air, to ether, to mind and spaciousness. So there are two different practices, and today I've left enough time for both of them. We will start with the practice that we did last week. Nice and relaxed in the shoulders and the arms, the wrists and the hands. And I want you to imagine that you're surrounded by a few, let's say 10 centimeters of a bubble of energy. So your movement of your hands is moving within that, or on the outside of it. So the bubble is between your hands and the body. And you're going to just simply keep your fingers pointing down towards the root chakra. And you feel into the base of the body. Feel into the floor of your pelvis. And we'll take a few chants of Lam, which is the bija mantra associated with the earth root chakra. So let's go for this. Just a few times. And you can feel a color red if you like, visualize. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. And then becoming aware through your hands, through this sense of energy around the lower belly, moving towards the back of your pelvis, of the water element, of your sensuality, your enjoyment of life, the svadhisthana. And the seed sound is vam. So and you don't need to come into the chanting if that's not right for you. But you might like to visualize a warm orange glow in the whole of your pelvis, front, back and sides. Vam, 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 vam. Vam, 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 vam. vam, vam, vam. And then bringing your hands up to the area of the solar plexus. The color is yellow, the element is fire, the Manipura seat of your self-potential, the way you present yourself in the world. Ram. Ram, 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 Ram. Ram, 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 Ram. Ram, 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 Ram. And coming up now to your heart center, Anahata Chakra, the seat of unconditional love and compassion. Color is green. The Bija mantra is Yam, Y-A-M. Yam, 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 Yam. Yam, 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 Yam. Yam, 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 Yam. Coming up to the area of your throat, the Vishuddha chakra. The place of your clarity of expression. Color is purple. The Bija mantra is Hum or Hum. Hum, 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 hum. Hum, 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 hum. Hum, 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 hum. And then releasing your hands down, because I'd like to do something else to bring our attention to the third eye and the crown of the head. Just take a moment though to breathe and feel the body. And the full prana mudra practice is like this. So we bring our hands back down to the base, a little way away from the body. And as you breathe in, you're going to move past all the energy centers, maybe pausing with the color, the sensation as you come all the way up. And then when you come to your brow, space between your eyes, you open out, end of your breath in, opening to space. But then it's like you gather everything in with the mantra Om. Om. To come all the way back down again. So we lift up through the chakras into this vibrant sense of spaciousness. And then we breathe out and we tenderly bring it all the way back down again to our root. So shall we take 3 full rounds? And obviously in your home practice, you could continue, because I'm going to move from that into either a seated meditation or Shavasana, because it is 25 past 11. 3 rounds. I'm starting now.
And you could settle with your right hand resting lightly in the palm of your left, thumbs touching at the tips. So the seed sound for both the Ajña and the Sahasrara Chakra is Om. And you are welcome, as I said, to take the remaining minutes of your practice in a seated meditation, or coming to lie down, making sure you're warm enough. The word for the cerebral chakra, Ajña, derives from the Sanskrit Ña, an archaic term that translates as knowledge or wisdom. Etymologically, this word is akin to the Greek word gnosis and is relevant to the strange spelling of the English word know. It is a non-conceptual wisdom, not limited to cognition or intellectual function, but likened to a sixth sense, a knowledge that comes about through concentrated absorption or samadhi. The Ajña center is a kind of doorway to perception. So you may want to stay where you are. We may like to begin to take a few slightly deeper breaths. Maybe taking some gentle movements into your wrists and fingers, your feet and toes and ankles. Maybe moving your head around from side to side. Possibly a full stretch. Whatever you need to do. If you're on your back, bringing your knees in and rolling around over to one side. And maybe joining me now in a seated position with your hands together in front of the heart space.
And rubbing your hands quite vigorously. And taking that heat over your eyes. The darkness of your palms over your closed eyes. And take a few opening and closing, fluttering movements of your eyelids. Until your eyes are open into the darkness and you slide your fingers down your face, allowing the light of the day in. And your hands come together again in Anjali Mudra at the heart space. Namaste, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today and for the whole 6 weeks and before that as well. It's a really, really complete pleasure to teach you. I'm going to turn off the recording and turn anybody on who would like to say hello, goodbye, and I understand if you don't want to as well.